Hi, this is Don Biggs from the 92-93 Binghamton Rangers.
Hi, this is Brandon Buchinski.
This is Grady Wittenberg, the voice of the Binghamton Senators, and you're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
Here is another Power Play Post Show interview exclusive with Bob Howard.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. Very excited to have this gentleman on. He is one of the new rookies here with the Binghamton Black Bears. He is a defenseman, and it took me a few tries to get his name right when he first came to Binghamton, but I do think I have it correct now. He is Austin DiRazio. Austin, welcome to the show. Great to have you on. Hopefully, I got your name correct.
Yeah, you absolutely did. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited.
Awesome. Austin, you are obviously from Vaughan, Ontario, which, if Black Bear fans remember last year, as I talked to Zac Sirota, the two of you are from the same hometown. I believe you're a couple years younger than Zac, but you guys did know each other playing hockey and played on some same teams together, right?
Yeah. We actually crossed paths. I never knew Zac, but we grew up in the same town. We crossed paths in Markham when we played for the Royals. We played together for about 2 years, and I have nothing bad to say about Zac. All good things. He's a great friend, and he's helped me bring back my career and play hockey again.
Was Vaughan, was it only just hockey for you, or when you were growing up, was there other sports also that you like to play?
It was always hockey. My older brother played hockey, so I was always on skates when I was young. When I was 3 years old, I was always chasing him around, and I was always that little kid running around the rink, and being that kid, I was always in the rink and just loving hockey, just because my brother and looking up to my brother, and it was a great thing when I was growing up, and it's a massive thing in Vaughan and in Toronto in general. It's hockey. If you don't really play hockey, I'm not really sure what you're doing when you're growing up. So yeah.
Well, obviously, there's so many people that are up in Canada when they're young, they want to, play hockey and they skate. Finding ice time up there. I think I talked about this with Zac a little bit. Was it easy or tough? Because yes, there are probably more rinks up in, the Toronto area, but there are also a lot of people that live in the Toronto area, the greater Toronto area, that are probably also trying to get ice time as well. Was it ever tough when you were younger to get that ice time to play?
Yeah, I think I was very close with my brother. He had a couple friends that were rink owners, and I kind of had the opportunity to be able to get on the ice with him a lot. So that was the fortunate part for me. But yeah, no, I could see what Zac is saying by it being tough to get on the ice because of everyone plays hockey in Toronto. Really, it's hard to there's so many teams, and it's really hard to get ice, and if you find ice, it's kind of out of the price range of what you kind of want to pay for it. So
yeah, and it's also very competitive. It's not just that people are getting on the ice. There's a lot of competition with those players, even at a very young age up in Canada, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's got one of the best minor hockey leagues. I'd say in the world, one of they've a lot of NHL players have come out of the league that I played in the GTHL, like John Tavares and Cole Perfetti and those guys, and it develops a kid to the T. Really, it gives you exactly what you need to develop it and be great at the next level. So.
Talk a little bit about your time playing with the Vaughan Kings, because I know you played under 15, under 16, the AAA. You were an assistant captain at one point as well. Talk a little bit about that time period, because if I'm doing the math correctly, you were probably around 15, 16, 17 years old, correct?
Yeah, I was actually a little bit younger. I think it was around 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I played 4 years there. So, yeah, my time with the Vaughan Kings has been, they had nothing but the best to say about that organization. They're a world-class organization. What I will say about them is that I think I wouldn't be the hockey player I am today without, the development of my coaches there and the help from the organization and everything they put into, being, a top-notch team in the GTHL, which isn't easy to do with all the, the competition and the different types of historic organizations that, are in that league as well. So.
Yeah, the 17-18 season, you played 64 games. That's a lot for someone who is, that age, playing, that many games. Was that hard on the body? Was it something that you kind of learned from, how to take care of your body better? Is that the time period where you start thinking about the nutrition, the exercise, the workouts, things of that nature?
Yeah, I think it was definitely hard on my body. Playing 64 games is, never easy, but I was young. So I kind of had, or younger at least, I kind of had the energy and I was always ready to go. But yeah, I think at an early age, I was instilled with, great nutrition and discipline from my mother, my parents, and obviously my brother playing a high level of hockey as well. It was kind of easy to transition into, trying to be a pro on and off the ice as much as possible, just because of how he would carry himself, throughout the house and in public, and definitely on the ice. He acted like a pro everywhere he went. So
how hard is it for a Canadian player or just players in general when it comes to junior hockey? It seems like in junior A, there's a lot of movement. There is a lot of moving around. You played in Newmarket. You played with Markham. You played, obviously, with Trenton. You also did NCDC games. How hard is it for players to... For me, it just seems like there's a lot of movement. And even in your career, where you did spend a lot of time and played a lot of games with Trenton and with Markham, but still there's a lot of movement that happens in junior A hockey. And I just feel like it has to do with competitiveness and also that players are just looking for the best fit for themselves as well. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I think in my case, my first year I played when I was 16, played in Newmarket, and that team actually got sold after the year, so I was a free agent. And then I ended up meeting Zac with the Markham Royals, and played there for 2 seasons. And you know what? My first season there was great. It seemed like the right fit. And the second season, I felt like I needed to move on a little bit, and ended up on Trenton. Actually, you know what? I'm forgetting a year with the COVID year. I feel like I forget that all the time. So that season ended up getting canceled, and the only hockey league I was playing was the NCDC, and I had the privilege to go play there. I did move around a little bit there, but we were in a Florida bubble, which was a treat. I wish I can go back. We lived on a resort and a golf course. It was amazing. Oh, wow. But the hockey, it kind of it bit me in the butt a little bit there. I was moving around a lot, and like I was saying before, my confidence wasn't right that at that moment, and it was tough for me. It really was. I had to say it was one of the the toughest years of my life, and even after that, with like the moving around and stuff like that, it's not easy to at a young age to move around away from your family, trying to live out your dreams. Of course, you're playing hockey, the thing you love to do, but you're only on the ice 2-3 hours a day, and it's tough when you leave the rink and you got nothing else to do. You're just kind of thinking and stuff. So
And then of course your final year in Trenton, your final year junior, basically, you play 51 games, you score 14 goals and 40 assists for 54 points. Then you play 13 games in the playoffs. Talk a little bit about that year and kind of like where your game was and how you were feeling about yourself during that season.
Like I was saying before, I think Trenton is one of the best junior places to play. That year was a year I'll never forget. I made brothers. I'd say family now. All 23 of us. We still talk very, very, very often. But no, that year I think Trenton, they just set you up for success. They give you everything you need. And like you saying I played 51 games. It might be hard on my body a little bit, but we have all the resources we need, right? We have, we had the trainers working overtime at all times and getting our body right and nutritionists and stuff like that. So we're always ready to go. But yeah, no, Trenton was a very good time, in juniors. Is probably my best year of juniors. And my game was in the right spot, but obviously we wouldn't be able to do it without the help of my teammates. I had a couple good friends on that team that I'm still very, very close with. One of my best friends, Matt Cato, and he helped me out a lot with that year. We lived together there, and he ended up going off to Vermont, and then now he's at St. FX. But no, he was a great friend to me, and he helped me out. He also had a good amount of goals that year, so he helped me out with the assists a little bit. So
no, 100%. And then from there, you go to Utica University, which I know in the D3 Lions is a very good team, and they've had success there. Talk a little bit about the decision making to go to Utica and playing some D3 hockey.
Yeah, it was a no-brainer for me, really. When Utica reached out to me, it was pretty easy to make a decision and commit there. It's like everyone's kind of heard. I feel about Utica is, it's a like I said about all the organizations I've played for. It's a world class, D3 team, top 5 in the country mostly every year.
Yep.
Get a lot of fans. They support us a lot. And I had a great time at Utica. I've my 3 best friends that still go there. They wish I was still there with them, but I wish I was too. And sometimes, but you got to move on sometimes. And at the end of when I left there, I left and it was tough for me to leave, but I had to do what was great for me. It was what was right for me, and at that time, and I have nothing bad to say about Utica, but it just wasn't the right fit for me.
Yeah, and you were telling me a little bit off air about getting back, like even just 2 weeks before you joined the Binghamton Black Bears, you had a conversation with Zac Sirota, somebody you obviously played with. He obviously was here last year. Talk a little bit about that conversation, which kind of helped bring you here to the Black Bears. Yeah.
It was like I was saying to you before off air, it was a weird year for me, last year. I started off at Utica and at Christmas I decided to move on and try to go play somewhere else at the Toronto Metropolitan University in U Sports. That didn't end up working out, so I kind of got content with being, quitting hockey and going to work 9 to 5. And but August came around. My closest buddies were going to play hockey, and I realized after the fact that I still do love hockey, and I'm a hockey player, and I know I can excel at this game if I put my mind to it. I just saw Zac in the summer and at our hometown gym, and I was just asking him, like, how is it still playing, and how are your years in Europe? And then he brought up the Black Bears, and he opened my eyes and kind of he gave me a good taste of what it is to be a Black Bear, and I bid on it pretty quickly. It was great. I have, you know, I think I still have chills kind of this day, the feeling that I felt that day when he kind of like talked to me. And it was a little bit of an emotion swing for me, because I was so set on, you know, being a full-time 9-to-5 guy. You know, it was easy for me to make that decision to come here and play. And I'm so happy I did it. And everyone here has been so welcoming, the fans, the boys, Coach Brant Sherwood. I'm just very excited that I'm here and happy to be here.
So you had the conversation with Zac, and it moved you. It sounds like to me that it really did move you. What was the conversation like the first time you talked to Brant Sherwood? I'm sure there was a phone conversation or something. You know, what was the conversation like with Brant the first time?
I mean, it was a long. Me and Brant had a very long conversation the first time we talked.
I can tell you that's not rare. I've heard that multiple times from players when I ask them about that first conversation with Brant. A lot of times, oh yeah, well, it was an hour long. Oh, it was 45 minutes long. Oh, it was an hour and a half long. Scott Romaker's probably talked to him for about 6 hours because that guy can talk. And I know, and I love Scott to death, but he can definitely talk. So it was a long conversation with Brant.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and the reason why he probably has the longest conversations, is because he really cares for his players, and he really wants to listen to, you know, who they are as a person, and you know what they're going through, because everyone's life is obviously different, and everyone's got their own thing going, right? So I think that's the biggest thing for Brant is, you know, caring for his players, you know, and that's what it seems to be. He really cares for his players, and he really wants to get to know them as much as possible. And that conversation went on for, I'd say about 45 minutes to an hour. And we just talked about, you know, my life and who I am as a person and what did I want to get out of hockey. And I just told him, you know, I haven't been on the ice in about 2 months, so I might not be the greatest player at first. I just think you need to get, like, for lack of better words, you know, give me a little bit of a leash and let me, develop over the practice times and by games, and hopefully I can be the player that you need and you want. It's been working out recently, but the work isn't obviously done yet, and we have a long season to go, and we have a big weekend this weekend, so I'm very excited for it.
Absolutely. Now, I have to ask you, you've obviously on some good teams in the OJ, obviously a D3 team that is considered one of the top D3 teams in the country, top 10 almost every single year. You come here and you start practicing with the Black Bears in the way Brant Sherwood, and you have John Quenneville, who played in the NHL, who literally just retired from active duty. Active playing, and now he's going to be a coach here. Were you surprised on how well structured and organized when you come into a practice here? I mean, this is single A hockey, and yet you have a 2-time Commissioner's Cup champion head coach, and you have a former NHL player, AHL player coaching you guys. Were you kind of like comparing this a little bit maybe to some of the other really good places you were at and going, wow, this is pretty impressive?
Yeah. I mean, like right away, right when I got to the rink, the facilities are just top notch, right? I think, there's some, higher level teams that don't have half of what we get and how we get treated. I think the structure here is just, like I said, top notch. There's really not really many places that I've played that compares to Binghamton. I think I wouldn't even say the closest was Utica, but this is kind of its own realm. I think that they've done a great job here, and jumping into a practice is very structured, and the stigma around the Federal Hockey League, obviously it's a little bit different, but coming here and to play it's not what I expected. It's much more. It's even it's exceeded my expectations, and I'm very happy to be here. So,
what about the fans? Were you surprised on how many fans and how this place filled up, or did Zac kind of fill you in on when we have a good night, it's a great night in Binghamton with the fans?
Yeah, no, it was everything as advertised by Zac. He kind of told me like the fans are amazing. Like you get to the rink, all they want to do is they want to get to know you. They want to cheer for the team, and they're always yelling and ready to go for the game. And that rink is on a bad night, it's always great. So I love fans and I'm excited to play for them on Friday and Saturday. So
what about after the games? Have you gone out and checked out like, holy crap, there's people here that want our autographs too? Because I think that's a surprise to some people when they come here. It's single A hockey. They don't expect it's not the AHL or the ECHL or the NHL. And boom, you walk out there and it's like, whoa, there's fans here that want our autographs and pictures. That's got to be a different feeling for somebody, even for a rookie coming in who played in a great place like Utica and even Trenton and Markham.
Yeah, no, it was a great feeling. I think, I've never really experienced that. I mean, a little bit in Trenton, but I think going around the city and you being recognized on the street is a feeling that you can't really resemble. It's happened a few times, it's great for the confidence, and this city is it's around the team. They love the team here, and it's something, like I said, is something I haven't really experienced, and I love it, every bit of it. So
the first 10 games of the season, Brant Sherwood has probably had you play with a couple different D partners. Last weekend, he basically kind of almost had like a rookie with a vet type of scenario set up. What was it like playing with Dan Stone? I know I talked to you a little bit about it on Sunday for a few minutes when I saw you in passing, but what was it like this past weekend playing with Dan Stone? You know how I feel about him and his positioning and the way he plays the game, but tell the fans a little bit about what it's like to be on a D pair with Dan Stone.
I think the best way to put it is it was seamless. He's very easy to play with. He does everything right with the puck. Whenever you kind of have a little bit of a breakdown, if it's with me or if somebody gets by me or something like that, he's always right there, ready to go and defending me and having my back. And it's great to have a little bit of a fallback if something doesn't go right, because it's a game of hockey and it's not going to always go right. So it's great playing with Dan, and he's a great player. He sees the ice so well, and his first pass is second to none. So
what do you think your role is when you're on the same D pair with Dan Stone? I see him as an excellent guy who is usually in the right place at the right time, number one, and that's just because he's so good at his positioning and where he needs to be on the ice. But at the same time, he makes good, crisp passes that almost never miss someone's stick. What is your role when you're kind of paired up with someone like Dan?
I feel like the kind of player I am is a little bit more offensive as a defenseman. So that being said, like Dan Stone, he's so great with his positioning and stuff that like even if he's up in the rush and I'm back, he's always there to fall back and be there for me, right? So I think we complement each other so well that he knows where to be at the right time, and if I'm up in the rush and I'm trying to be an offensive threat, he's in the back and he's making sure that puck stays in or that puck gets out, or he's just always in the right spot. And I think we like I said before, I think we complement each other really well, and I'm very happy to be playing with him, and he's a great player. So.
All right, so second period, 12:29 in the period. Jacob Shankar gets a pass over to you, and you score a goal. Talk a little bit about that goal and how it felt.
Yeah, it felt, I'd say, relieving. I've been shooting a lot of pucks on the net, and some of them have been missing, but I just kind of stayed the path and trusted the process to I felt like something was coming for me, and hopefully I could just stick to my game, and it ended up working out. It was I felt like I needed to kind of shoot for a lot more, and I ended up doing that, and luckily I went in the net, and I'm happy to get my first as a Black Bear. So
yeah, and what was nice about it is not only did you score your first goal, the two guys that got the assist with it was Tim Kim and of course Jacob Shankar, right? So it was like the three of you guys came together to help you get your first goal. Now, Zachary Desmarais also got his first goal in the first period. There are some new rookies here on this team. And I got to imagine it's a little intimidating to come into a team that's won 2 championships in a row. And you got like a Tyson Kirkby, a Gavin Yates on this team, CJ Stubbs. But it seems like you guys, all of you rookies, have kind of fit in very nicely with this team.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all goes back to Coach Sherwood, making sure that everyone feels comfortable, and all the boys making everyone feel welcome, right? I think whether you're a rookie or a vet, you all get treated the same. I think the best part of this place is that you get the confidence to go play your game. And that's one thing I didn't really experience in a lot of other places, and I felt like here is just it's a really great fit for me, and I'm really happy to be here. So
now, do you feel like you guys can bring that hunger to get that third championship? Because the first time you win a championship, you weren't here, obviously. In the second year, you weren't here. But in the first year, it's like everybody's hungry. Every single body's hungry, and they just want it, right? Second year, it's like, oh yeah, let's do it. And probably a couple new rookies come in, like a Zac Sirota, right? But now in the third year, everybody's talking that they really want this third championship, yet this is your first. This would be Zachary's first, Jacob's first, Tim Kim's first championship, right? Do you guys kind of bring that little extra hunger to the team, do you think?
Absolutely. I could speak for them and say that like we are all so motivated to bring this championship back to the city for the third time in a row. But like I was saying before, I think those guys, they work so hard off the ice. We're always, we're little rink rats. We're always at the rink, and we love being at the rink. We get up so early to get to the rink before practice, and we always ride together and stuff like that. So it's amazing. I wouldn't rather another group of guys, to be rookies with here, because it's, these guys really are focused, and they have, one goal, and that's the championship here. So
very true. Very true. Okay. So let me ask you this question. It's a question I ask every once in a while to everyone. Who are you actually rooming with, this year, on the team?
I'm with Chichu Laughlin.
Oh,
yeah.
Just the two of you?
Yeah, just me and Chichu.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what's Chichu like? We haven't talked to him yet here on the show. Maybe we'll get him on soon. But what's Chichu like?
He's a great kid. I think he's a little bit on the introverted side, obviously, and I think he's a great player, and he makes it easy for me when I play with him too. And but yeah, no, he's a great kid, and I have nothing but good things to say about him, especially as a roommate. He's I think that the little things around the house is great. Keeps it always clean, so I have nothing bad to say.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. One last question about Zac Sirota. We affectionately called him the Rat last year on this team. You obviously played with him, maybe never on the same line, but maybe you guys were on the ice at the same time in Markham. Can you say or not say that he played that kind of style of hockey even in junior hockey as well?
Yeah, I think his game has always been the same. I think he's obviously gotten way better over the years, developed a ton, but I think his overall game has always been the same thing. He's a great guy to have on your team, because he'll draw a million penalties a game, but if you're on the other side, you probably don't like him very much, and that's a great guy to have on your team. It's really it's a puzzle piece that just puts it all together, right? So.
No, absolutely. Well, congratulations on your first goal. Welcome to Binghamton. We love, obviously, having people come in and just who have the drive and the hunger to obviously go and try to win another championship. I know you guys have been without Tyson Kirkby and Zach, as we've talked about him on the ice. Hopefully Zach's coming back here soon, as I saw the roster move, and then, just kind of putting some math together and, figuring out the dates. Hopefully Zach will be back for the games against Athens. What have you guys talked about team-wise about Athens?
I mean, they're a great team over there. They got a really good squad, a strong squad. But I think, we're going to be ready with the help of Brant Sherwood. He's going to get us, ready to go. And we've been waiting for this weekend for a while. Not to say that we treat every weekend differently, but this is one weekend that we can really get a feel of a little bit of more playoff hockey, and we're ready for this weekend. And practice today, everyone was flying around. The practice was everyone was really good today, and I'm really excited for this weekend, and it should be a good judgment on where we could be in about a month, and where we could be in June or April or May. So I think all the boys are ready to go, and it should be a treat on Friday and Saturday to watch, and all the fans should be there to cheer us on, because it really 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 helps us out when they're loud, but I know they will be, because they're the best fans in the FPHL. So.
Did you hear them when they cheered after your first goal, or was it kind of like one of those things where you just didn't hear anything? You were so excited.
Yeah, I tell the guys all the time. They'll be talking to me and saying, "Hey, you remember this play? Maybe I could have done this." And I was like. And I just tell them, guys, I kind of black out on the ice. I don't know what kind of happens. I think, I think in that situation, I totally blacked out and kind of just let my drive for the game and my motivation and hunger to win take over, and it ended up working out. And I don't really remember much, but I know they were I watched it back a few times, and
good.
They were definitely loud.
That's awesome. He is Austin D'Orazio. Austin, thank you very much for coming on the show. We really, really appreciate it, and good luck this weekend against Athens.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be on the show.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Power Play Post Show. Be sure to tune in next week to the Box Studios Radio Network for all the latest Black Bears news and interviews from around minor league hockey. The Power Play Post Show would like to thank John Patitucci for all the music you hear on the show. You've been listening to the Power Play Post Show.